Hello, and welcome to My Thing, Your Thing. My name is Hannah.
And I'm Donovan.
And today we're doing one of my things.
Yay.
I was struggling for a while with, like, the things that I wanted to do. Because if you ask me what my favorite movie is, it's probably going to be, like, the last movie that I watched. I like movies and I like watching movies, but they don't tend to stick with me the same way that, say, books do.
That is how you and I are different.
Yeah. I read a lot growing up.
I mean, me too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just personally, maybe it's because I had acting, like, family. I had actors in my family.
Yeah.
Like, film, stage, books. Those were all equivalent. Like, television, it's all,
Sure.
It's
all the performing arts.
Yeah. One is not better than any other one. They're all, like, equally valid.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time reading. My mom read to us from like every single night when we were kids. I always felt a little bit bad that she died before she got to read the end of the Harry Potter series, but she also died before all of the turf nonsense. So like,
yeah, no,
probably came out even on that end.
Yeah, good for her. There are better books,
It's fine if you like it. It's still a children's book.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, the people who are like, Harry Potter's the greatest book ever, and I only read Harry Potter and nothing else, like, go outside, touch
read
grass.
Another book.
Yeah.
Perhaps some of the books that we're going to be talking about today.
These ones specifically.
So we are talking about Guards, which is the first of the Captain Vimes City Watch arc for the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett.
There we go.
Terry Pratchett is my favorite author. Terry Pratchett taught me to be a good person. Like, I cannot express to you enough how much these books like shaped me as a person. Like, my morals, my ethics, my sense of humor, a lot of that, it all comes from Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett wrote a bunch of books, specifically in Discworld. He wrote 41 books, and he wrote them at a pace of about like almost 2 a year.
Hey, George, George Martin. Hey, maybe learn a thing or two.
So I'll have to track this down, and like as we continue talking about these books, I want to like read more interviews and stuff that he has done. But I remember a quote where he said that he had basically an ultimatum for himself, where he wrote 100 pages a day. That's day,
amazing.
He wrote 100 pages.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to, as a musician, I was like, this year, I'm like, I'm going to write one song a week. Oh, I am nowhere close. Oh, man.
Yeah. He was highly dedicated to not just, like, writing, but, like, the art of wordsmith.
Oh, yeah.
There was a quote that I read where he was like, you basically have to be obsessed with the English language. You have to be obsessed with words and their meanings and how they fit together.
And
it comes through.
Look, if there's ever been a person who can just say a phrase that seems innocent at first but has, like, devastating layers, it's Terry Pratchett.
Oh my god, yeah. So Terry Pratchett's my favorite author. I've read his books over and over again. I've read every single Discworld book at least once, and some of them I've read like a dozen times or more. So Thud, which is near the end of the Sam Vimes arc, is my favorite book ever. I've read it probably, like, there was a while where I was reading it like literally once a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that book.
Similarly, coming from my background, so I have never read, until now, a Terry Pratchett novel. I read a little bit of Good Omens.
Sure.
Like, I have seen Terry Pratchett, like, adjacent stuff for years and years and years. And, you talk about Terry Pratchett quotes, like, I have had a running joke for years where it's just like, if you read a quote and it, like, makes you feel good about the universe and it, like, gives you, like, hope deep down inside, it's almost certainly a Terry Pratchett quote. He was really good at that.
We also, like, we'll be talking and I will come up with, oh yeah, much like everything else, Terry Pratchett has a quote about this.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of, like, backstory. Discworld is a flat disc.
Yep.
That is carried on the back of 4 elephants who are themselves standing on a giant turtle.
Just like Earth.
Who is swimming through space.
Yeah.
In case you want to know, the elephants' names are Barella, Tubal, Tafan, and Jerkeen, and the turtle's name is the Great Atuan.
I mean, I didn't need to, but thank you.
Yeah. The Discworld is magic. It is inherently magic.
Yeah.
Magic is a very important part of the disc. There are other books where, like, There's a book where a bunch of old adventurers are like tired of life, and so they decide they're going to go kill all of the gods. And there are a bunch of people who are like, wait, if they do that, we all die, because like magic is so essential to our life here that like the world will stop existing if you kill the gods.
Yeah.
So I have to send some people off to stop them. It's great. I have it. You should read it. It is a novel, but it's got like, it's a really big book, and it's got a bunch of art in it, and it's really cool.
Hannah, I love seeing you excited about this stuff.
Thank you. So yeah, there are 41 books in the Discworld series. There are some arcs which like follow a particular character.
Yeah.
The most books that I own are like the Ankh-Morpork City Watch ones, and then also the Witch ones. And here's the thing that I'm going to say. I read a lot of these books when I was younger, before I knew more about the English language, and so there are some words that are specific to Discworld that I have a way of pronouncing in my head that is probably not how they're actually pronounced.
Okay.
And so I need you all to bear with me if I'm wrong about this. That's totally fine. Happy to admit and change the way it's pronounced, but I'm not like, I just read the books. It's not like I'm out here like, you know, listening to other people talk about them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the way I read books these days is I do audiobooks.
Yeah.
I just find that to be better. So if I pronounce something a certain way, it's probably because
that's how it was.
That's how it was in the audiobook. So yeah.
The ones that I read the most are the City Watch, and then I think it's Lancer, the Lancer Witches.
Which is interesting because I kind of feel like the most famous pop culturally sort of line of Discworld books is the Rincewind books.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I actually love Rincewind. I believe I've read, I don't own all of his books, but I have read all of them.
Yeah.
And I really do like them, but for the purposes of this, I don't necessarily think that like it's the best entry point.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. Everybody who likes Terry Pratchett books have a different book that they'll tell you where to start. It is a meme amongst Terry Pratchett fans of like everybody's going to tell you a different place to start.
Kind of a big part of the reason I have not gotten into it yet is because I was very much like, please tell me where to start, and everyone said something different. But this time my girlfriend said, this is the one you're reading, and I was like, okay.
Truly, whatever book you find, read it. It's fine.
And can I just say, thank you.
You're welcome.
This was great.
Terry Pratchett himself has said that there's no correct order to read them in.
Yeah.
There are books where stuff happens chronologically before and after other stuff, but like it's not super necessary.
Sure.
I think that starting with Guards and reading all of the City Watch stuff is good because not only does it give you a good entry point, but it also shows you some of the progression of the writing from year to year. So there are 8 books in this arc. There is Guards, which is written in 1989, Men at Arms, which is in 93, Feet of Clay, which is in 96, Jingo, which was 97, The Fifth Elephant, 99, Night Watch, 2002, Thud, 2005, and Snuff, 2011.
I guess I didn't realize they were like so recent.
Yeah.
Because I knew he was writing in like the 80s and 90s, but I guess I didn't realize he was writing like well into the 2010s.
He was writing basically up until like the day that he died.
Yeah.
There are, I believe, 2 Tiffany Aching books that came out after, like posthumously after he had died. There's definitely one. I think that there are 2.
Okay.
Also, no, he died in 2015. I thought Snuff might have been, but I'm pretty sure he died in 2015, which would have been before that.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, no, Rising Steam. That's the other one, which is one of the Moist von Lipwig books, which you should also read. I don't know if we're going to do for the podcast, but you got to read those.
We will get to them.
Yeah. Yeah, there are like arcs, and then there are also standalone books. I love Small Gods. Small Gods is really good. Equal Rights is really good too, especially if you want like a little bit more idea of how the magic works, which a lot of there's I don't read a lot of like modern fantasy books, like the stuff that's coming out recently. I'm not a huge fan of like romantasy, which kind of seems to be what's out. And there are a lot of people who like talk and or complain about magic systems. And one of the things that I like about Terry Pratchett books is that like it's just magic. It works by magic.
Yeah.
And there are costs. You can't just do whatever you want. If you throw a fireball, not only A, are you going to be really tired for a while, but B, you might get arrested.
Yeah. You know, I kind of said this when we were talking about the book before we started recording. I kind of find that one of the things that's hard for me to get into with certain kinds of fantasy, I tend to like fantasy that is not super like high fantasy.
Sure.
Because I find that to be oftentimes like really unapproachable, that there's not like a real like human feeling that you can really dig into. You know, it's like people read Tolkien and don't understand what makes Tolkien work, and so they make these worlds that are like kind of Tolkien-esque, and they're just sort of like boring to read, and like you don't understand any of the characters. Or it's like young adult shit, you know. It's like I just read, it's the Shadow and Bone stuff, the Lee Bardugo fantasy books.
Okay.
Yeah, which the Grisha verse. Yeah,
is that like the Six of Crows?
Six of Crows and stuff. Yeah, I read that stuff, and there are things about it that I really enjoyed, and I also watched the series, and there were things about the series I enjoyed, but like they're young adult. And there is just something about the young adult thing that, like, I just sometimes just can't really get into.
Sure.
And then, as you said, there's romantasy. I won't even touch the stuff, you know. So, and like, I'm a huge fantasy fan. I love Song of Ice and Fire. I really wish I could read more of it. And so having Terry Pratchett right now to be sort of something to look forward to as far as fantasy goes for me is really great, because it's like, oh, this is magical and it's fun, but it's not like young adulty, although, you know, a young adult could absolutely read it,
yes.
But it's not young adulty. It's not, you know, romantasy, although there is some romance in it, you know, and it's high fantasy, but it has approachable, like, real characters that you can, like, get your teeth into.
Yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't call it gritty, but like there is some grit to it.
There's a little bit of grit to it.
Yeah.
The City Watch, it takes place in the city of Ankh-Morpork, and Ankh-Morpork is like loosely based on like both England and New York, or London and New York, and like a couple of other places like France. There's a couple of other places thrown in there.
I love
too.
the way he described the city, where he was like, this is not an architecturally beautiful city. This is not a city that like has some like beautiful vista or like thing. It is just a big ass city where lots of people live.
Yep.
Which I thought that was very evocative to me.
So Discworld is a fantasy series, but a little bit more importantly, it's a satire series.
Yes.
And I started reading these books when I was in like 8th grade. So there were a lot of jokes that I did not get because I just hadn't read the material that it was satirizing yet. Sorry, I actually put footnotes into my notes.
You put footnotes in your notes just like Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, a lot of the jokes in Terry Pratchett books are in footnotes.
Yes.
And they're very fun.
They are. When I did the audiobook, the main part of the audiobook was read by John Huclo, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And he's like a very well-known British actor. He's done tons of stuff. I thought he did a great job with it. But all of the footnotes were read by Bill Nighy, who just reads in this like super flat, dry, sarcastic like voice. And it's perfect for those like little joke footnotes.
Yeah.
You know?
So side note, Discworld became very, very important to me after my mom died. And even became a part of my grieving process with my dad. I would mark pages with really funny bits or like poignant quotes, and then I would read them back to my dad later. So if you make fun of Discworld, you're making fun of a teenager's grief process, you monster.
Oh, I mean, like, we can make fun of anything.
Sure.
And, you know.
But feel bad. These are my favorite. So for the next several episodes, we're going to be talking about the City Watch canon of books.
Yes, and I'm so very excited.
So this series follows the City Watch for the city of Ankh-Morpork. It is headed by Samuel Vimes. If you are yelling at me that that's not his title, this is the first book. His title will evolve as the books do. No spoilers for Donovan. Shut up.
Yeah. He's captain of the City Watch, as far as I know.
He's captain of the Night Watch, specifically.
Oh, specifically
there is
of the Night
also
Watch.
Day Watch,
Yeah.
but like Night Watch and Day Watch don't get along.
They don't
together.
get along, no.
And then there's also like the palace guards,
Yeah.
and they also like Vimes doesn't get along with those guys because they're all very shiny breastplates,
And they wear plumes.
and he
fucking
thinks
hates
plums
that
are
shit.
dumb.
Yeah. He even gets extra money every month to put a plume in his hat, and he doesn't do it.
Well, that's
On
drinking
principle.
money. So it's headed by Sam Vimes, who is usually the primary point of view character for the City Watch books, although we do ride in a lot of other people's heads as well.
Yeah.
The book starts out with Vimes as captain of the Night Watch. He's been a watchman his entire life. His whole life. That's the only job that he has had.
Yeah.
And he has been on nights the whole time. This man rarely sees the sun, and he is fucking depressed.
Oh, yeah.
He starts the book like the first on-page thing, he is drunk and in the gutter.
And he's like sad about a woman, and we don't know, there's like no specifics to it, but you know, there is an implication that he is laid low by a woman.
But the woman is kind of the city.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're getting into subtext here,
sure.
Hannah. I don't disagree with you.
So he starts this book as a drunk, and his struggles with alcohol are a running theme and a core part of the character.
Yeah.
And I, as an adult, don't drink a lot. And it would be a lie if I said that Sam Vimes and his relationship to alcohol was not an influence on that. So I just want to talk a little bit about the characters in this book, and I'm going to try and keep this part as spoiler-free as possible. So if you listen to us talking about it and are like, hey, I want to go read that book, you can read that book, and then you can come back later and listen to us talk about how much we fucking love the book.
Yeah.
So other notable characters introduced in this book are Sergeant Fred Colin.
Yes.
Who is an enduring fixture in the Watch, and is older than Vimes, but is a lifelong sergeant. They talk about him having military service and kind of always like gravitating to the level of sergeant, but like never going any farther than that.
They even say like you can't imagine him being less than sergeant either. You can only ever imagine him being a sergeant.
He like walks in and they're immediately like, that's a sergeant shape.
Yes.
Get out there. Often paired with Colin is Corporal Nobby Nobbs, who is perhaps the only person on the disc that has to carry a certificate to prove that he is human. That is a direct quote.
Yeah.
As I'm going to, as much as possible, say when it's a direct quote, although, again, I've read these books so many times, there are parts of it that are just, like, imprinted in my brain so much that I don't necessarily know that I'm quoting them.
Yes. And Nobby contains multitudes.
He does. Oh, this is like even the surface. There is so much going on with this strange little man.
Everyone in this book is a great character, but he's very strange in his own special way.
He is described as small and smelly with an impressive collection of rashes and boils. Nobby was a street urchin who mostly raised himself, which given the standards of Ankh-Morpork, he turned out like pretty okay.
Yeah, he's a functional adult for all intents and purposes.
Right? Nobby also has a history of military service, but not as distinguished as Colin. Nobby is well known to have switched sides when it looked like the battle was going badly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a line later in one of the books where, like, if Nobby was on the field, a lot of generals would keep an eye on where he was to tell how the battle was going.
Yeah. He's just a really, like, a canary in a coal mine out there, you know?
Which is a thing that Sam Vimes describes him as. There's a bit later where he's like trying to figure out what's going on in the city, and he just asks Nobby, because Nobby is, you cannot get more men on the street than Nobby Nobbs.
That guy's ear is permanently on the ground.
Yeah. Probably nicking some stuff down there too.
Yeah.
So rounding out the watch,
it's packed with cigarettes.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get too close.
Yeah.
Rounding out the watch and introduced in this book is Carrot Ironfounder's son. Carrot is a human who was raised by dwarves and, by all intents and purposes, is a dwarf himself. Carrot sees himself as a dwarf. He introduces himself as a dwarf. He is 6'4" in stockings and has bright orange hair and no beard. He is a dwarf. You're just gonna have to be okay with it.
Yeah. Carrot's great.
Carrot's great.
I can't say that he's my favorite character because Vimes is probably my favorite character, but Carrot is a strong second place.
Yeah.
I love Carrot.
Carrot's dwarven parents, concerned that he was outgrowing life in a dwarf-sized mine, sent him off to the big city to seek his fortune and send back money, like any good dwarf should.
Yes.
Carrot, being raised by dwarves, leads quite a lot of the humor in the series. He's very much the straight man that like jokes bounce off of. Mm-hmm. He is described as solid in more ways than one. Mm-hmm. Dwarves on the disc are well known for their sense of humor in that they don't have any, and sarcasm goes straight over their head. Har har.
Yes.
Also relatively certain those are both direct quotes as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Other characters of note introduced in this First City Watch book are the Patrician of Ankh-Morpork, Havelock Veterinary.
Man, Patrician is also up there as one of my favorite characters.
Oh, he's so good.
He's really great. And an interesting sort of triangular sort of foil between Carrot, the Patrician, and Vimes, which we'll get into, because all three have very distinctly different worldviews.
Compared to later books, he's not super well characterized in this books, but he does get fleshed out more and more as the series goes on, and also in other books set in Ankh-Morpork. He's a fairly large player in the Moist Von Lipwig books. The city has suffered a series of bad, incompetent, corrupt, and like mad patricians before that, and then like mad kings that were described as dangerous, dark, and dirty.
Yeah.
But now that Veterinary is in charge of the city works, which is kind of what is most important for people.
Yes.
He basically got everybody to just like work together, essentially, mostly by threatening people and throwing them into scorpion pits.
Yeah,
he is a tyrant. He's a tyrant,
but he's I wouldn't even call him an enlightened despot. He's just like very cynical and very practical, very like Machiavellian.
It is easier to control people when there's still a roof over their head and their bellies are full.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, as long as tomorrow looks pretty much like today, people are going to be pretty okay with you staying in power.
Mm-hmm.
Note to current world leaders. Hey, guys. So the city works. The city works pretty well, and as the book series goes on, it will work better and better. Ankh-Morpork, I believe at this point but continues to be and eventually becomes like the most prosperous city on the disc. It is a city-state. It's not like they're in like the capital of a country. Ankh-Morpork is a city. It is also the state.
Yes.
And like, it is surrounded by plains and a bunch of other stuff where people grow food and they all bring it into the city and sell it and then go back home.
Yeah. Classic feudal kind of thing,
Yeah.
In like the Holy Roman Empire, this would be what they would have called like a free city.
Yeah.
Where you're sort of like not really part of the surrounding countries, but you're kind of your own thing.
Yeah. So to help him kind of rein in the populace and also commerce, Veterinarian stated a bunch of different guilds.
He's not a veterinarian, Hannah.
I know. Veterinary instituted a bunch of different guilds, or like gave the guilds, like awarded them more power.
He sort of took some of the guilds that already existed and he sort of like legitimized them.
Yes. And there are a bunch of different, there are like normal guilds, like the guild of bakers or lawyers or glassblowers.
Merchants, all that kind of stuff.
And then there's also, assassins. And then there are also some more decidedly Ankh-Morporkian, like the guild of thieves and the guild of seamstresses. Seamstress here is a euphemism for sex worker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The fact that Rosie Palm is the head of the Seamstress Guild, it took me so long to get that joke. It's like truly an embarrassingly long amount of time.
I'll be honest, I didn't get it till just now.
So Guards is the introduction to the City Watch and to Ankh-Morpork, to sort of some of the people who live on, like, a lot of the previous books were, the Rincewind books. There were a couple of Rincewind books that came out before this that were more explicitly like sword and sorcery kind of thing.
Yes.
Satirizing sword and sorcery. And then this one is a lot more like, these are normal people who, like, live here.
Yeah.
Like, while Conan the Barbarian is out doing bullshit, there is a whole city of people, like, eating and shitting and living and dying.
The foreword to this book I thought was great because he said it was dedicated to those random guys that run in and get slain by the hero, right before the big battle with the evil king or whatever, and he's just like, no one ever asked them if they liked their job or wanted to be there, and he's like, this is dedicated to them, and I do really like that.
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day awaits the way.
So the book starts. Vems is in the gutter. He's real drunk. He's not having a great time.
Absolutely not.
Carrot, still in the mountains, is talking to his parents, and they're like, you have to leave. You have to go down to the city. His dad is a king, but in dwarf terms in this, king is basically like head mine surveyor.
Yeah.
They make all the important decisions, but also like they're head of the mining project. Like that's their day-to-day job. They found him in the woods and raised him as their own, and they're like, you're too big for this, and also like you can't marry a dwarf girl, so you have to go to the city.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing where like Carrot has a crush on a dwarf girl named Minty, and he keeps like asking after her, and like her parents are all mad at him because like she can't marry him.
And she's got the softest beard.
Yeah. So they send him off to the city with a very sharp sword. Yeah.
The most unmagical sword ever forged.
Yeah, it is a sword that has one job, and that job is to separate people.
Yeah.
So he crashes into the city, and with all of the earnestness of a human raised by dwarves, and he's given, like, he gets the book of laws.
Yes.
And he is immediately very much like, you guys are all committing so many crimes all of the time.
Yeah.
All crime, all time.
He memorizes the whole book of laws.
Yeah.
Like, that's a crazy thing to do in real life.
Yes.
But, yeah, he memorizes the whole book of laws. Nobody else in the city even cares about the law at all.
Yeah. Really, not really. Yeah. Yeah. This is true. Carrot is kind of like the fish out of water who has come into the city, and he's like experiencing everything for the first time, and that's kind of how we get a lot of like how we understand the city is how it is explained to Carrot. He meets all of these people, a bunch of stuff happens. Someone starts summoning dragons. There's just a dragon that appears.
Yeah, we meet the the elucidated brethren. What is it? It's the
elucidated brethren of the Ebon Knight, I believe.
And they're basically a bunch of these essentially like middle class workers. Like all of them sort of are semi-successful, like none of them are happy with their lot in life.
Right.
You know, they're all like, you know, there's brother doorkeeper, and there's brother plasterer, and there's brother watchtower, and you get the idea that all of them have like a job, and that job is like semi-successful, but they all like are sort of like have a chip on their shoulder and wish they could be greater than they are. And the leader of the elucidated brethren is basically using their sort of frustration at the world as to like power, like
the ability to summon a dragon.
Yeah, because they're all just like kind of miffed about things.
Yeah.
And they're also just this side of incompetent.
Yes, yeah. This is again. Maybe don't draw too many parallels too hard to anything happening.
Yeah,
currently.
yeah, exactly. There's a grievance culture.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, I forgot to also mention one of the really important characters that is introduced in this, which is Lady Sybil Ramkin.
Lady Sybil's fun.
Sybil is great. So Lady Sybil, she is the most wealthy person in Ankh-Morpork. She is old money.
Yeah. She's got so much money, she doesn't care like who knows that she's got money.
She has so much money that she doesn't have to buy and wear fancy dresses. She can stomp around in a tweed suit all day that's got like swamp dragon shit on it, and nobody can say anything to her about it.
Yeah. There's a specific scene I like where Nabi, he's like upset. He's just like, well, if rich people walk around like this, not even flaunting their wealth, then what's the point of even being rich? Like, you know, you might as well at least do it. It gives us poor people something to, you know, like look forward or, you know, think about.
She has little interest in the social scene, preferring to spend her time tending to her collection of swamp dragons. So in this world, there are swamp dragons, which are basically the size of like a medium-sized dog.
Yeah.
And you know, they
can grow to be 18 thumbs high.
18 thumbs high, 18 whole thumbs high.
Mm-hmm.
And they can breathe fire, sort of. They have there's a whole bunch of chemical stuff happening in their stomach, and they can like breathe out liquid that catches fire.
But they can also explode.
Yes,
if they're not careful.
Much like, I don't know, what are animals that get sick all of the time forever? Much like those guys, whatever animal you pictured, it's them.
Yeah.
Swamp dragons are also kind of continually sick, but unlike whatever animal you pictured, swamp dragons will explode.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you know, like puffer fish. You know, sometimes when they puff up, they can't go back down and they die.
Yeah.
Except that's a combustion engine inside of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sybil is described as being able to get along with anyone, and in later books, members of the Watch are known to add a little extra polish to their helmet if they know that Lady Sybil is coming by.
I mean, minor spoiler here, she essentially becomes their patron.
A little bit, yeah.
And, I mean, gosh, she's great.
She is. She's one of my favorite characters, and kind of who I a little bit aspire to be most of the time.
Yeah, Hannah, Lady Sybil... There are some real shades of Lady Sybil in one Hannah here that I'm looking at right now lovingly.
Okay, so I think that's all that we can say without getting too hard into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
It's a very good, very funny book. If you like fantasy, if you like satire, if you need a little bit of a pickup in your day, definitely check it out. The audiobooks I've heard are very good.
Yeah, I used Libby Well, this is not sponsored. Obviously not.
I don't think Libby does sponsor.
Yeah, Libby is this app that you can just like sign up with your local library, and you can, if you read ebooks, you can download ebooks on it. If you do audiobooks, you can download audiobooks on it, as long as like your library has a copy of it on hand. Sometimes you have to wait a little while. Like I had to wait a couple of weeks to get Guards, but it's a great app and a great service, and it costs nothing.
So that's the spoiler free. It's one of my favorite books. There are better City Watch books as it goes on and as Terry Pratchett gets more comfortable in the world that he has created and also with his writing style.
Sure.
But it is a really good entry point to the Discworld series if you're looking for one. Although again, if you see a book and the name on it is Terry Pratchett, pick it up and read it. It'll be good.
It'll be good, I'm sure. Yeah.
So now we're gonna get a little bit more spoilery.
Yeah, this is now the spoiler zone.
Yeah.
Spoiler zone!
Spoiler zone! What did you think of the book?
I mean, I love the book. I thought it was great. You know me, I'm going to go off a little bit on a tangent here about pacing, because I'm a big fan of pacing.
Sure.
In film and television, like, pacing is a huge thing for me as a storyteller, or as a story consumer. It's just like I kind of want things to go a certain speed. And if there was any criticism I have of this book, is that from about halfway to the book until about 3/4 of the way through the book, it kind of trips over itself because there's a lot of plot lines that are sort of like wrapping around each other.
Yes.
But the first half of the book is fantastic, and the ending is fantastic. And if you can get through the little tiny problematic part in the middle there, I think it's golden. I love all the characters.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, legitimately, you will laugh your ass off. There are lines that I will remember for the rest of my life. Just like the Lady Sybil's bosom rose and fell like an empire is one of the funniest things I've ever read in my life.
That's good.
The Rampkin family is shown to be a family that's sort of bred for like stoutness and strength and like large, yeah. And so Lady Sybil is big and tall and I don't want to say like rotund, but she is solidly built. And so when they say that, it's so evocative. You totally get what's being said there.
There in later books they talk about how I think even in this one she mentions that like none of her forefathers ever died in their beds. They all died off in like foreign wars somewhere.
Oh, but they did die in other people's beds.
They did die in other people's beds sometimes. You're correct. Yes. So like, the Ramkins were like aiming for guys who could go off and fight in some foreign wars and bring back spoils and or be dead. Was it come back with your shield or on it? Yeah.
Oh, that's the classic Spartan saying, yeah.
That comes up in Jingo. Jingo's a great book. We're gonna get there.
So do you want to do a plot synopsis?
Yeah.
Past the
full plot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carrot gets into town. He becomes a watchman. Everyone is very much like, why are you here?
Yes.
There are a bunch of people who are like, what did you do that you're stuck with this? And he was like, no, I volunteered. And they're like, haha, very funny. Pull the other one. It's got bells on.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Someone told my dad that it would be like a good career for a young man. So I volunteered. And they're all like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? So he shows up. He tries to arrest a bunch of guys from the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, he literally walks into the Thieves Guild headquarters and arrests the guild, essentially. And they all go to the patrician and are like, who the fuck is this guy?
Hey, come get your guy.
Yeah.
And the patrician is also like, what is happening? Because, like, his dad wrote a note to the patrician that's like, hi, my son would like to come to your city and work for the watch. And he was like, yeah, okay.
Sure.
You start on nights.
I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah. One of the funny things about it is that this happens like a couple of weeks into him getting into the city. And the whole time, he hasn't really had a conversation with Vimes because Vimes has literally just been too drunk to have a coherent thought for weeks.
Yeah.
And so the first time we meet Vimes sort of coherent is when he's being called in to be like, hey, talk to your guy. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Who is this now?
Yeah. He's like, it's a dwarf who works with you. And he's like, we don't have a dwarf.
Dwarves.
What are you talking about?
Carrot is also staying at Rosie Palm's establishment.
Yes.
And there's a lot of jokes being made about like, what, every night? But no, he just has a room there, and like he doesn't like make moves on any of the girls or anything. He's a very innocent boy.
Yeah.
And they like having him around because like he doesn't get embarrassed. He's not ashamed to be there, and he's a big solid guy with a sword.
Yeah.
So like, if anybody starts acting up.
Yeah, one of the girls like kept waking him up to ask if he needed anything, and he kept being like, no, I'm good.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
He talks later about like going out for walks around the city with Reet, who was one of Rosie Palm's girls.
Yes.
And like showing her many interesting architectural points, and her just being like, okay. Or but yeah, so we get introduced to the rest of the watch. Carrot starts going out on patrol with Nobby.
Yeah.
And like Nobby as a strict city boy, like there's just no way for these two people to communicate because they're speaking different languages.
Yeah, they're speaking whatever the language that they're speaking, but neither of them understand each other whatsoever.
There's like a bit where they're just like walking down the street and they're just like testing doorknobs, and it's the time when they call like 3:00 and all's well or whatever. And so Carrot's like, so what do we do if the door is open? And Knobs is like, well, and no, Carrot, he says something along the lines of like, well, yeah, if a door is unlocked, we have to go like tell them and like, probably give them some sort of citation for like not securing their household. And Nobby is like, I was gonna go in and steal some stuff.
Yeah. And then they say, you got to ring the bell and yell, it's 12:00 and all is well. And then Carrot actually does it, and he does it so loud that people wake up and go, hey, what the hell?
What the hell? Is something bad must be happening because there's someone shouting in the streets. And so Nobby's like, we have to leave before someone comes by.
Yep. So they go to they go past a dwarf bar.
Oh yeah. Oh god, the dwarf bar.
And the city dwarves have lost their minds. Like rural dwarves, they're mining, they're like having a great time, but city dwarves drink ale and fight and basically do nothing else.
Sing songs about gold.
And
Carrot walks in and just immediately like, first of all, he lays a couple people out.
Yeah.
And second of all, he like gives them this speech about like, your poor old mother back up in the mine baking dwarven bread. What would she think of you now? Like he gives this whole speech, and by the end there are a couple of dwarves that are crying.
Yeah.
And Nobby was like, I thought for sure we were going to die. Yeah. Like we don't mess with the dwarf bars because there's like 4 of us, and if we try and stop them, we will get an axe in the face.
Yeah.
So
and then they go to another bar. And in this bar,
this is the Mended Drum, which is very famous in Ankh-Morpork.
Yeah.
It is where a bunch of adventurers go, like very serious adventure-y guys with names like, I don't know, like Morag the One-Eye or whatever.
Yeah, if you're a D&D fan, this is like the Yawning Portal. Like,
yeah.
This is where, everybody goes to. This is the Prancing Pony and Bree or whatever you want to talk about.
The Mended Drum is also where the Color of Magic, like it starts in the Mended Drum. That's where Rincewind meets Two Flower.
Absolutely. And the bouncer for the bar is a troll.
Detritus,
great name. At the bar, there is an orangutan.
Yeah.
And the orangutan is actually the librarian. He was a human who got transformed into an orangutan. Apparently this happens in one of the other books. And we saw him briefly because a book from the library was stolen, the book about summoning dragons.
Yes, he was going through the library and he realized that there were some footprints in the dust.
Yeah.
Oh no, this happens after the first time that they see the dragon, because he's like, oh, I have to go learn more about dragons.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to go find a book.
So we kind of meet this character and this orangutan librarian man. He will be back. Carrot says, hey, you can't have an animal drinking at the bar. That's illegal. And also, here's all a bunch of other laws that you've broken. So come quietly. And the entire bar decides to fight Carrot.
Yeah.
And Carrot wins.
Yes.
He beats up the whole bar, including the troll. Like...
So, Detritus is not a bouncer, he's a splatter, because if a troll bouncer decides that you're not supposed to be in there, you kind of splat.
Yeah.
So... Carrot, he's described in later books as having a punch that can drop a troll, and so like this is a thing that you need to know about him, is that he can fight. He is solidly built. He spent his life hunched over in a mine hauling rocks around.
Yes,
boy's got muscles.
He is a bulky broham.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, he's wearing a codpiece.
Yeah, his protector.
His protective.
I want people to understand that, like, there is a lot of you will oftentimes get the urge to call Carrot like a himbo because he is big and solid and quite handsome, according to the book.
Unobservant.
Yeah, and people tend to think that he's dumb, but
He's not.
He's not. He's very smart. He memorized the whole law book.
He did.
But also, one of the things that they describe him as in later books is that Carrot is simple, and simple is not the same as dumb.
Yes.
And so, like, you know, he makes a very good cop for that reason because he is simple and he looks at things simply.
Well, it's funny, though, because we talk about, you know, the concept of a himbo. Typically speaking, himbos are not stupid. They're
Sure.
usually just like they sort of you know, in D&D terms, they have maybe not necessarily high intelligence, but they don't necessarily have low intelligence. They have low wisdom.
Sure.
They don't see things, they don't perceive things, and they're kind of like, you know, missing stuff. But, you know, they sometimes are actually intelligent. They know stuff.
I would say that Carrot has a lot of, like, emotional intelligence.
Yes.
He, in later books especially, he knows the name of literally every single person who lives in the city, and he'll ask you about your ailing aunt, and you will be very embarrassed and put the book down in your hand because this very nice police boy was very being kind to you.
Can I just say, autism idol?
Yeah.
You know, like our hero of autism, Carrot here.
We love a special interest boy.
Yeah.
His special interest is other people.
Yeah, and, you know, like, kicking ass.
And kicking ass. And he does. He kicks a lot of ass. So, yeah, Carrot's settling in. He writes some letters home. Vimes is very dumbfounded as to what the fuck he is supposed to do with this guy.
Yep.
And then a dragon shows up.
Yes. We, like, a dragon keeps appearing and killing people and then disappearing.
And yes.
And no one's really sure how this is happening.
Because dragons like this have not been seen in Ankh-Morpork in, like, thousands of years.
Yeah, only the tiny little swamp dragons, not the big noble dragons.
Not the big noble, yeah. Draconis nobilis.
Yes.
Initially, like, you know, the petition wants it to be kept quiet because he doesn't want people freaking out. He doesn't want a riot on his hands. There are a couple of incidences where, like, the whole watch is, I believe everybody has gotten drunk, including Carrot.
Yeah.
And they're all, like, stumbling home, and they realize that they have taken a turn into the Shades, which is the roughest part of town.
Yeah, which guards do not go in.
Yeah, they don't go there. It's one of those places where, like, not only, like, if you leave your cart there, the whole thing is going. It's not just that they took the wheels off or whatever. Like, the whole thing is gone, and probably somebody's eating your donkey right now.
They will pull every plank of wood out of that thing.
It's a very, very, very poor, very dangerous place to be. So they've managed to somehow get there, and they're trying to figure out a way to get back out when they hear this horrible, terrible sound, and there's this bright light, and they look down the street, and there's like a thwump, like something giant is flying away.
Yeah.
And on the wall is etched the bodies of 6 people who have been burned to death.
Yeah, we're talking like Shadows of Hiroshima situation. Yeah.
The brickwork around them is melted.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of stand there until morning because, like, they're just trying to process this information.
Yeah.
Which is like, what could do that? Is it coming back? Maybe we should stay here because why would it come back? Like, you know, lightning only strikes the same spot once or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And as far and we as the readers know that this is the second time this has happened, but they did not know that up till now. They report to the patrician about this.
Yep.
The patrician shows up and he sees these big giant footprints. And he goes like, looks like some kind of wading bird. and Vimes is like, I'm sorry?
I beg your eternal pardon?
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm pretty sure that was a dragon. And basically they're like, nope, it definitely wasn't a dragon. Also, by the way, if anyone else says it's a dragon, take care of them.
Yeah.
And Vimes is like, okay. And then it cuts away from the scene. And what we find out later is that Vimes was so, like, disturbed by this that he took a plaster cast of one of the footprints.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, who knows about dragons?
Well, probably somebody who runs a sanctuary for sick dragons probably knows a lot about dragons. That's how he meets Lady Sybil Rimkin, because she runs the The Sunshine Sanctuary for Sick Dragons.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister.
Little bit. SHs were never my strength with tongue twisters. I was always better with like the fricatives. But yeah, so he goes and he talks to her, and she's like, no, Draconis Nobilis, no, that's not around anymore. That would be ridiculous. They don't exist. They can't exist. And if they did exist, they don't anymore.
Yep.
And he was like, well, I've got this. Does it look like a waddling bird? And shows her the plaster, and she's like, holy fuck, that's a dragon.
Yeah.
She's like, well, goddamn, that's a dragon.
Mm-hmm. But Vimes also noticed something really interesting where he found this footprint, is that all of the hanging lines above him, where the dragon would have to flown down to land, they're not broken. So the dragon did not fly there. It appeared there.
All of the clotheslines that are crisscrossing this alley that the dragon came out of are untouched. So he came out of the alley, but he did not go into the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And so this kind of leads him to sort of like thinking, you know, this is probably not a thing that lives here in the city all of the time. It's probably coming from somewhere else or someplace else.
Yes.
While he is out and about, that's when the librarian saw the guys getting flamed by the dragon, and so he's like, I need to know more about dragons. I'm going to go like read a book about dragons.
Yes.
So he goes in and discovers the worst thing that a librarian can find, a hole on a shelf where a book used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So he immediately goes to the watch to report this stolen book.
By the way, he's an orangutan.
He
cannot speak English.
He can ook.
Yeah, he ook. Yeah.
Ook. Don't call him a monkey. He is an orangutan. He does not like that.
Yes, he is not happy about it.
He will pick you up and bounce you on your head.
Apes are strong.
Yeah, apes are strong.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and he tries to report this to Carrot, and there's a whole scene of Carrot trying to figure out what he's talking about.
He's doing charades.
He's doing charades.
Pretty fun,
yeah. There's a bit where Carrot's like trying to be like, oh, was a crime occurred? Was someone killed? Worse than being killed? What could be worse than being killed? And then he like sounds it out. I was like, oh, a book got stolen. Do you think that's worse than something?
If you're a librarian, yes.
But yeah, he figures out that the book that was stolen was called The Summoning of Dragons.
Yes.
So like it's basically like there are a lot of little puzzle pieces that are starting to come together.
Yes. And what's really interesting is that all of these little pieces are coming together. Vimes and the Watch, they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
But then the plot beats them to the punch, essentially. They're figuring it out. Vimes, you get this feeling like Vimes even talks about, he's becoming more sober as he's doing his job. Because he finds out he's actually a pretty damn good detective.
Yes.
You know, he's figuring things out. He's like gathering information. He knows stuff. He understands this stuff. And as he does better and better and better, he's like on the trail. And then
a dragon shows
up. But also this kid who says he's the king. And basically the whole time...
he has a very, very, very shiny sword.
He has a very shiny sword. The whole time the Elucidated Brethren were kind of cutting back and forth with them, they have a plan, or at least the Grandmaster has a plan, where they're summoning this dragon so that it's scary and everyone's freaking out about the dragon, but he's got this kid who may or may not be the long-lost scion of a former king. He's the true heir or whatever, and he's gonna have that kid quote unquote kill the dragon. Really, they're just gonna
make the dragon
go away because they're the ones summoning it, and they're gonna use that to kind of install this guy as the king because the patrician is unable to do anything about it. And not only that, but the patrician is posting like below market rates for taking care of the dragon.
Yeah, people are offered 50,000 Ankh-Morpork dollars to take care of this dragon, and all of the adventurers are like, that's low. It should be half the kingdom and his daughter's hand in marriage.
Yes.
And so like they're having this conversation, and Captain Vimes rocks up and he's like, well, he doesn't have a daughter's hand in marriage. He's got an aunt and Quorum and a small dog, but like there's no daughter to marry.
And everyone else is like, meh. And then we see sort of the next morning, and Vimes is pissed because we're going to have a king now. We're just going to have a king now. And the patrician is in prison. And
Vimes is very anti-monarchy. It is a continuing theme throughout the books.
Vimes is anti-monarchy. Sergeant Colin is anti-monarchy, although his wife isn't, which is a whole bit, which is very funny.
Yeah.
Vimes is just unsettled by this whole thing because he's just like, I can't believe that we're all just going to like let a king take over, despite the fact that like he didn't do like what are we talking about here? Is like,
yeah, killing a dragon does not necessarily make you qualified to run a city-state.
Yes. But unbeknownst to anyone else, the dragon. How would you describe how the dragon exists?
So, Draconis Nobilis in this world, they exist somewhere else.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the book, it's kind of described a bit like an M.C. Escher picture, where like if you look at it, like all of the space in between the dragons is just another dragon.
Yeah.
And so like they're just there, and they're kind of beings of magic.
Yes.
But the thing is that the dragon is also smart. And so it got a taste of existing in, quote unquote, the real world, and it doesn't want to give that up. So when the Elucidated Brethren were like opening a way for the dragon to come, the dragon remembered those steps.
Yeah.
So she comes back.
That's a bit of a spoiler.
That is a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, she decides, no, you stupid humans don't get to decide when I do and don't pop into existence. I'm just gonna pop back.
Yeah. The dragon comes back and starts fucking shit up.
Unrestrained.
Yeah. Before it was like, killing a few people here, a few people there, just kind of scared.
Yeah,
now
destroying a greengrocer's.
Burning the whole goddamn town down.
Yeah.
And fucking murks the king on his coronation day.
Snaps his ass up.
Yeah. And Ankh-Morpork, of course, does the only logical thing and makes the dragon king.
Yeah. You kill the king, that means you're king now.
Honestly, when I was listening to the book, I was like, oh, this is funny. Vimes is saying they're going to make the dragon king. This is like a joke. Oh, no, they're actually going to fucking do that.
Well, because, like, okay, A, you kill the king, you're the king now. But
Basically.
also, B, if a dragon decides it wants to be king, like, who's stopping it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you going to do about it? I think that's the king now.
Yeah, or queen or whatever.
Or queen or whatever, yeah. She demands all of, like, a bunch of gold so she can sleep in a hoard of gold. And Ankh-Morpork is very rich, but it does not have a lot of gold.
Yeah, because, mineral wealth is not the only kind of wealth.
Yeah. So, like, it's basically like they pull out all of, like, the good silverware.
Yeah.
And, like, throw a couple chandeliers on there.
And some of the, like, curtains with, like, gold trim and
Yeah.
stuff, and, like, books that have, like, illuminated pages and things like just
anything that's a little bit shiny.
Yeah, they're just pulling everything out to give to the dragon. And this, like I said, this is kind of the part of the book where things get a little wiggly.
Sure.
Because everybody's kind of acting separately. Whereas, like, up to this point, like, lots of the characters were kind of working together. In this part of the book, like, Vimes said there was a dragon at the coronation, and there wasn't. Like, he was mistaken, and so he's been stripped of the captainship of the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
Lady Sybil's kind of doing her thing. The librarian's off searching for the book in Elspace. We're also seeing what the dragon's doing sort of separately, and it's a little hard to follow.
Sure.
I still like this part of the book, but it's the part where when I was listening to it, I kept having to like go back and be like, because Terry Pratchett does not really do chapters.
No.
And so I kind of kept having to go like, okay, when did we jump to this next part? It was a little hard to follow. I'll be honest.
It is a little bit easier on the book itself because there are like page breaks basically in between the different sections, and like that will tell you when you're in someone else's head.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can definitely see where if you're just listening to it and there isn't like a ding or something every time there's a page break, I can see why that would get.
There would be a pause,
Sure.
but there would also be a pause between like, paragraph breaks.
Sure.
So, you weren't sure if you were like going to a whole different section of the city or whatever.
Oh, and in and amongst all of this, at one point, Sam had gone to the sanctuary for swamp dragons. He had met a dragon, who was named a swamp dragon.
Errol.
Well, so first,
yeah.
What was it? It was like
his name is, of course,
it's like Bindle.
Good boy Bindle Featherstone.
Yeah.
Of Quirm.
Of Quirm. and lady, he is. Wow, how does Lady Sybil describe him? Is it a waddle? She describes him in some way that like someone who breeds animals would be like, yeah, this is a dead end. I cannot breed this animal because he has so many bad characteristics.
Yes.
I can't pass them on to anybody.
His wings were the same size as his eyebrows, with a face like an anteater, a pear-shaped body, and gigantic nostrils. He couldn't flame or fly and spent most of his time relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lady Sybil described him as a, quote, complete riddle.
Complete whittle, yeah. And so like Vimes takes a little bit of a shine to him, and she's like, well, do you want to keep him? Because like I can't. I don't want to have to like call him, but you know, I can't breed him, and he's not doing me any good here.
There's a scene where a bunch of people, when the dragon is attacking, they attack the dragon sanctuary, and he holds Errol like a gun and does the whole Dirty Harry speech where it's like, you know, are you feeling lucky?
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
And so he takes Errol. He kind of becomes like the mascot of the Watch, and Sam Vimes thinks a lot that, like, you know, the Watchmen themselves are also complete whittles.
Yeah, weirdos, freaks. Yeah,
they're not useful to anybody else, and so they're all kind of stuck together.
Yeah, it totally works.
So the Watch has Errol, and like the whole time that like the dragon is ruling the city, something weird. They immediately rename him Errol. Nobby looks at him and is like, he kind of looks like my Uncle Errol, and then that's just his name. So the entire time that they have him as the dragon is ruling the city, something weird is going on with Errol. He eats a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of stuff that would not be considered food, like the tea kettle,
like
and
oil and armor polish, and like
their whole month's coal. Supply.
Coal,
And there's a bunch of concerning noises coming from his stomach. And Lady Sybil had previously said that swamp dragons can rearrange their digestive system to accommodate just about anything. It's basically an alchemist set in there. Like, they'll eat just about anything, and they can digest most things, and if they don't, they'll explode.
Yes.
Oh, also, talking about how Lady Remkin kind of becomes like a patron for the Watch. The Watch house gets burned down by the dragon.
Yes.
And so she is like, well, I have a bunch of houses. Just take one of those. Like, I'm not using it.
Yeah.
So, like, here, have this house in Pseudopolis Yard, which is like the very fancy part of the city.
Yeah, so they get to move into this awesome house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the dragon is in charge of the city, and everybody is like, oh, God, what are we
going to do about this? At this point, the librarian brings the book back from L-Space. So L-Space is this weird, non-linear, interdimensional space where, like, things happen, you know, like every book that exists, you know, is slightly magical, and so collections of lots of books are sort of, by their definition, don't exist in physical space in a normal way.
Yeah, what is the equation? Knowledge is power, power is mass, and mass distorts space.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a bunch of jokes about how anybody who has been to a weird secondhand bookshop knows that the people who run it aren't from your universe. You know, they came from another universe through L-Space. The librarian finds the book in the past because, you know, you can travel through time, and he is able to look at it and you know, figure it out and bring it back. Wait, hang on.
He doesn't bring it back. He just reads the whole thing.
He just reads the whole thing, yeah. So he reads the whole thing and figures out essentially what's going on. You know, that somebody was summoning this dragon, and then he's going to take that information back to the Watch.
Yeah.
Because he still wants something to be done about this blasted book stealer.
Yeah. Yeah. His main concern is that these guys stole his book, and he would like it back, please.
Yeah. And by the way, the elucidated brethren, aside from the Grandmaster, were all killed by the dragon.
Yeah.
Because they had served their purpose.
Yeah, the rest of them, like the Grandmaster was using them. Like, it's explicitly clear in the text as he thinks about them. Like, he thinks that they're all dumb, and he is using them for one purpose, which is to summon a dragon.
Yes.
And then once they fulfill their purpose completely, he's going to kill them. He does, in fact, like not on page, but he does. It is heavily implied that one of the like more clever people, he just goes ahead and kills. Like,
yeah, he's kind of worried about him. He's like, oh, he's a little bit sharper than the rest of them, so I gotta make sure. Yeah, and he just murders that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Vimes, kind of now knowing what's going on a little bit, makes his way to the palace, and he is there arrested and brought to the dungeons, where he is put in the dungeon next to the patrician.
Yep.
And the patrician has like taken control of the dungeon in a really interesting way. Like, all the rats do his bidding, and he's like not in any way bothered there. He's just like, no, this is fine for me. I like this. And later on, we find out that he just has a key for the lock stash down there, but he doesn't tell Vimes while Vimes is trying to break out. And he's like, well, you seem like you were doing so well. He really needed this.
It's good for him. It's good for his enrichment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that the Partition does for like Vimes' enrichment, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how he sees Vimes.
Yeah.
He is helped by the librarian to break out.
Yeah. So, like, the rest of the Watch are like, we have to kill this dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're going to try and kill this dragon. And they know that it's a long shot. But if it's a 1 in a million shot, well, that means it's going to happen every time.
Yeah.
Because this is a fantasy book. And it being a 1 in a million shot, that means it's going to happen every time. But then they have a whole argument about whether or not it's actually 1 in a million. Because if it's not 1 in a million, it's only like 1 in 10,000. It's not going to
work.
It's not a long enough shot for it to work in.
So yeah, they're like, do you think that a man with one eye closed standing in a washman aiming behind his back, do you think that's a 1 in a million shot?
And Sergeant Colon talks a big game about how good an archer he is, and he sucks.
Yeah. He might have been really good at one point, but those days are several donuts behind him.
Yeah, no kidding. And so they're on like a roof, and they're like talking about, okay, well, when the dragon flies over, we're going to kill him. And then Vimes finds them and is just like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're going to kill the dragon. We're standing up here with the statues on top of the temple or whatever. And Nobby's like, well, there aren't any statues on top of the temple because they took them down last week.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It turns out they're on top of the dragon.
Yep. There's a bit earlier in the book when they're like the first time that everybody's looking before the king shows up, when everybody's looking for the dragon. So there are a bunch of people who are trying to kill the dragon to get their reward, and there are also a bunch of people who are like trying to find the dragon to follow it because everybody knows that dragons have giant hoards of gold, so they're gonna they're gonna nick that gold.
And then there are people who are just trying to sell sausages to the people hanging out waiting for the dragon.
Oh gosh, we have to talk really quickly about Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler. Don't let me forget that I was going to talk about the Tower of Art, but first we have to talk about Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler.
Yeah, Cut Me Own Throat is such a funny little side character.
He is so good. He shows up in every Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler shows up in every Ankh-Morpork book. If the book is set in Ankh-Morpork, he is there.
Yeah.
And then versions of Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler show up in other books where there's just some other guy who's willing to sell you something greasy out of a tray on his neck, and they are everywhere, and they all have different names.
I love the little joke at the end of the book too, where they're like, and then there was he talks the whole time about how he's like anti-dragon cream, which is made by a monastery of monks. Yeah. At a top of a mountain, and everyone's like, this is all bullshit. And then at the very end of the book, there's these like monks on top of a mountain putting these bottles into a box and sending them to Ankh-Morpork, and then he's just like, I do wonder, what is he doing with these? This is a pretty good bit.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to look at some of the other ones really quickly. So there's also Disembowel Me Self Honorably Dibla, sold suspiciously fresh 1,000-year eggs in the Egyptian Empire. Cut Me Own Handelef Dibla, sold disturbingly live yogurt in Omania. Algebla, a merchant in Clatch. Farrago Dibbler sold the archetypal pie floaters in the lost continent of 4X. And May I Never Achieve Enlightenment Dibblang, apparently from the Hublands Wisdom Country. Yeah, so there's like a bunch of other ones.
Wow.
Yeah. Most of them like are just mentioned off page, but Rincewind interacts with a couple of them. So that's Cut Me on Throat. He's great.
Cut Me on Throat's fun. Tower of Art.
Anytime that there's a crowd in Ankh-Morpork, he's going to show up and try and sell sausages in a bun to people. So yeah, the first night before the king shows up, they're all like standing on top of the roof, like just watching for the dragon. And there's this really great bit, I think about it all the time, where Vimes is staring at the Tower of Art, which is the tallest and oldest building in the city and is part of the Unseen University. And he's staring at it and is trying to remember what it looks like, because it looks wrong, but not wrong enough to be like, oh, there's probably a dragon right there. Yeah. And so like he at one point he like nudges Colin and is like, hey, is that what the Tower of Art has always looked like? And he was like, oh yeah, no, I see what you mean. Like it looks like there's a dragon hanging off of it, but if you like kind of refocus your eyes, you'll see that it's like just a bunch of smokestacks and roofs and stuff, and then they're just both kind of like, well, now it looks like the smokestacks and the roof are falling off of the Tower and flying directly at us.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god. Oh no. So yeah, they're gonna try and kill the dragon. So they're out on the rooftop. trying to fire the an arrow at the dragon,
which doesn't work.
The dragon's right behind them. They fall off of the roof, and the dragon is basically just like flying around, setting shit on fire.
Yep.
When all of a sudden, Errol shows up.
Yay!
Errol has rearranged his entire digestive system so that instead of producing flame from his mouth, he farts flame, and that makes him able to fly super duper duper fast.
Can I just say the whole thing where Sybil says that he's a complete Whittle?
Yeah.
Whittle is the name of the guy who invented the jet engine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
God, there's always new things you learn with these books.
Yeah. So that's like kind of yeah. And they mention earlier that like his big nostrils are like air intakes in a jet engine.
Yep.
Yeah, which is kind of like a hint
Yeah.
to like what happens. And yeah, so he's flying circles around the big dragon.
And everyone's like, oh my God, they're going to fight. Like, Errol's going to defend the city because this is his city. What is happening?
Yeah, and Lady Sybil is watching and is just like, oh yeah, they're fighting. I this is bad. Like, he won't win because,
he's so little and, like, he only has so much fuel, but...
Yeah.
But it turns out that he wasn't fighting. He was doing a mating display.
Yeah, this is courtship.
And Errol kind of just, like, shepherds the giant dragon off because it turns out she's a she, and she kind of falls for him a little bit. He's like plucky and is tenacious, and she like swats him out of the sky one time and like way off across like the fields outside of Ankh-Morpork, and then he like comes, everyone's like, well, beans, poor Errol, he did his best, but then he starts coming back, and like he's coming back so fast that like the cabbage fields are like exploding behind him.
And like he's doing the classic thing where he's trying to make a big scary lady love him by being a goofy little guy.
Yeah.
And let me tell you guys, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Just be a goofy little guy and the big scary lady will love you. I'm just saying.
It definitely works in this, and they kind of like just sort of fly off.
Yeah.
Because this is not really a place for Draconis Nobilis anyway. Like, she doesn't have a hoard of gold that she can sleep on. There's not really a rock anywhere that anyone can chain a maid into so that she can, like, eat it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
although they try.
They try.
They tie up Lady Sybil at one point to try and do that. And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, no. So yeah, the city is not a place for dragons, and so she and Errol leave to go find a place for dragons.
Yep. And at this point, the patrician escapes from his jail cell and goes to confront his advisor once. Now, once, the entire book is kind of this, like, in the background, kind of like advisor to the patrician, sort of Wormtongue-esque kind of character.
Yeah.
Sort of obsequious. But as it turns out, he is the Grand Master of the Elucidated Brethren, and he's been the one summoning the dragon in the first place.
Because he aspires to power which he is not fit to hold.
Exactly. There's a great little standoff scene, or there's a great scene where the patrician knows all of the secret passageways in the palace.
Yeah.
And so Wance keeps running from room to room to room, and then the patrician is just already in the room when he gets there because the patrician keeps going through all the secret passages that he doesn't know about.
And also he knows Wance so well, he knows what room he's going to go to next.
He knows exactly which one he's going to go into.
Yeah.
When they're in one room, just the two of them, the watch breaks in. Vimes and Carrot and Colin and all those guys, and they are confronting them.
Yeah.
And he tells the patrician to shut up, but he does save the patrician's life when Once tries to attack and kill him.
Was he using the King Sword, or did he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he uses the sword that Carrot has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's using the sword that Carrot has to protect him. And then they shove Once into a big pit. He basically falls several stories to his death.
A lot of the palace had been destroyed because a dragon was living in it.
Yeah.
So he just kind of like falls off of like the end of the stair, like the end of the floor, basically.
Yeah, he talks about, he's like, I'm going to summon a new dragon. And
I'll be in power because
Yeah.
I can summon dragons.
he's standing by the edge, and then Vimes says to Carrot, throw the book at him.
Yeah.
Meaning, arrest him. And he literally throws the law book at Wance, who is knocked off the edge and falls to his death.
Yep.
So the crisis is now over, and we get to the sort of denouement of the story. The patrician wants to talk to Vimes, the first thing he does is he says, like, hey, where'd you get this sword that he used to protect him from death? And he's like, oh, that's Carrot's sword. He brought it with him. And Patrician kind of looks at it and he goes, this is a very interesting sword. Nicely done, lad. And he gives it back to him. And
I was just rereading this bit a little bit earlier, and there's a bit where the Patrician is looking at the sword, and Vimes is like, it felt like history was like turned all of its eyes to this moment, but he couldn't figure out why that was.
Yeah, it was like history condensed. Yeah,
and then the Patrician is like, oh, good sword, keep a good edge on that. It's good to have a good sword, and like gives it back to Carrot.
Yeah, gives it back to him, and the whole book, I should mention, there is a lot of emphasis made about the like, oh, well, when a dragon shows up, that's when the heir to the throne wielding a magic sword shows up in town and saves the day. And that's supposed to be the king that, the
fake king,
the fake king that wants is bringing up. But it kind of describes someone else we know. Anyway.
Someone who we later also find out has a very peculiar crown-shaped birthmark.
Very odd. Interesting. But the Patrician brings Vimes back into his office, and they have a fun conversation. And I really don't think we can do it justice just like talking about it. It's just something that you kind of have to read. But essentially, the Patrician gives his worldview. And the Patrician, I think, is like your classic, like, lawful neutral bordering on lawful evil, where he just says, look out at the city. It's an ocean of chaos and misery and bad people. Everyone's a bad person. And Vimes is like, they're not bad, they're just people. And the Patrician's like, you have to believe that, but it's not true.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because the sort of like three viewpoints we get of the world is you get Carrot's like very right and wrong, just, unjust, straightforward view, and then you get the Patrician's like Machiavellian, like, cynical view, and then you get Vimes, who's kind of in between.
Yeah.
He is cynical. He is not naive. He's not as simple-minded necessarily as Carrot is. I don't mean simple-minded isn't stupid. I just mean he doesn't think of things as simply as Carrot does. But at the same time, he kind of believes in the inherent goodness of people against his better judgment. And that is something that I identify with that so much.
Yeah, me too. I do genuinely think that most people are trying to do the best that they can. Yeah. And a lot of people are given deeply imperfect situations and circumstances. But most people are not actively conspiring out here to make you have a bad day. Yeah. Like, it's the same old, like, don't prescribe to malice what could easily be waved away by stupidity. Like... Yeah.
Terry Pratchett is a humanist. You can tell.
He really is, yes.
He really believes in, like, the good and the value of people.
Yeah.
Which is something I think that, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to lay my heart on the line. We all need to believe in the goodness and value of people. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, anytime I see any of you be like, oh, bring the asteroid, kill all of us, humanity's a plague, just, like, fuck yourself. That shit sucks. Like, that's a bad way to think, right? Like... you can't be somebody who believes in equality and believes that, like, people of different cultures and religions have value, but then also say, like, but humanity as a whole is a plague. You can't have those two thoughts in your head. Either humanity has inherent value or it doesn't. You have to pick.
Yeah. We were just talking earlier about I was reading a post on Tumblr where like some scientists and historians had done DNA tests on some of the people from Pompeii, and they had discovered that there was an adult who was holding a child, and everybody assumed that it was a mother holding their kid, but it turns out that those two people were completely unrelated. And so in the middle of the world ending, someone was like, this fucking sucks, and the only thing they could do was to pick up a child and hold them, and oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, that's it. The very just basic goodness that's right there. It's just like, well, what else can you do?
You don't have to be infallible. You don't have to be perfect all of the time.
Yeah.
No one can. We're human. But do the best that you can with the people around you.
Aww.
I love these books.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, we forgot about the very end of the book. where they are going to reward the Watch for the service that
yeah.
they have provided to the city. And Vimes doesn't know, like, reward. What the hell?
What do you mean? We did our job.
And Sergeant Colon steps up and he's just like, well, could we get a raise, maybe? And, like, a new tea kettle for the watch house?
Since Errol ate ours.
And everyone just looks at them like, wait, that's it?
That's all you want?
That's all you want? And Nabi, like, at first sees the reaction to this and is like, damn it, I knew we shouldn't have asked for that much. They'll never go for it. It's like, this is the world these people live in. They ask for so little. The world, they can't even conceive of more than this.
Yeah.
You know? Which is kind of a beautiful moment.
And also the librarian gets his book back.
He gets his book back, and he also takes the law book into the library.
Yeah. You gotta put them somewhere safe because they'll do damage. That's what Vime says to the librarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of a nice little comment, I think. You know, there should be laws, but, like, sticking too close to the letter of the law of the book, you know, that's actually probably not a good thing either. He's sort of, you know...
There always needs to be nuance. I think the theme of this podcast, there always needs to be nuance.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I am with that 100%. But yes, I love this book. I really do. I very seldom at my age. God, it's weird to say this, but, like, you know, when you interact with media when you're 16 to, like, 23 or something like that, like, it affects you in very deep and profound ways.
Yes.
And then when you become an adult, even good things just don't affect you as much.
Yeah, it reading this book now, I still love it. It still means a lot to me. There's still very fun and interesting things that I learn, like about the guy who invented the jet engine.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, like the effect is different.
I am not somebody who has really been able to experience something in a while that I just made me have a big stupid grin on my face the whole time I was listening to it. And that's what this did. And as you said, they get better. And I can't even imagine that. Like, I can imagine, like, oh, it tightens up a little bit or whatever, but, like, I'm excited. Like, I really want to read the rest of these.
So I tend to think of, like, Guards, Men-at-Arms, and Feet of Clay as, like, the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, and so then, like, Jingo and Fifth Elephant, kind of like the middle. Night Watch is a bit of I don't want to say, like, side story, but, like, we'll get there. It's different.
Sure.
But then, like, Thud and Snuff are, like, Thud is peak Terry Pratchett to me.
Sure, okay.
Snuff is very good. I have not read it as many times as I've read Thud, but Thud is peak Terry Pratchett. I definitely think that you're going to like Jingo a lot, and I really think you're going to like Night Watch.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't, you're going to. But if you don't like Thud, I think I might have to break up with you.
Oh, no. Well, you heard it here, folks. I better like that book then, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, the writing it only gets better from here. We get more characters.
Yeah.
As a little bit of a tease, there are a lot more, like, trolls and dwarves going forward.
Yeah.
That join the Watch. And it's great.
Well, there's gonna be people joining the Watch. There's only 4 guys in it right now.
Yeah, there are more people. Just is a little bit of also a teaser. There's a zombie. His name is Reg Shoe. He's great. I love Reg.
Oh, well, I'm excited, and thumbs way up. I don't want to do like a score, you know, because I always find that stuff to be really, like,
unhelpful, kind of.
Yeah, and because, you know, it's impossible to scale, you know, because it's just like, I give it a 9.7 out of 10. Like, what does that mean?
If I were to, like, score these on, like, Goodreads or whatever, like, all of these books would be 5 out of 5 for me.
Sure.
But, like, that's just me because I love them so much.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend you give Guards a read. If it tickles your fancy even a tiny bit, please continue with the series because, again, they only get better.
Let it affect you.
Let it affect you. Fall back in love with both writing and humanity.
Yeah. It's hard right now. I get it.
Yeah.
Trust me. I understand.
Another, like, A weird thing is like every time I go to like a secondhand bookstore, I try and find the Terry Pratchett books and I can't find them. And that a little bit says to me that like people are holding on to them.
Yeah.
To be fair,
They're trapped in L space.
yeah. To be fair, there have not been a lot of like they've not been printed in America in a while.
Oh yeah.
So like all of the like the imprints are like older ones.
Sure.
Like hang on, my book
Yeah, yours is definitely like a trade paperback from, it looks
Yeah.
like, the 90s.
probably, yeah. 2001.
Okay, yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not letting go of this until it disintegrates in my hands. Actually, my copy of Feet of Clay is older than that, and like there are parts of the pages that are falling out. But that one came from my now deceased uncle, so like I'm never getting rid of that one.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Asimov books that I read that were like my dad's when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I was like reading them and they were falling apart in my hands. By the way, Hannah, have you read Foundation?
I'm going to kiss you because I love you so much.
All right, well, this is Donovan.
This is Hannah.
This is My Thing, Your Thing. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.